Hi, guys. Good morning once again. We are on Kaleidoscope, and I am Olivia. Okay, so we were talking about mental illnesses and how it can take a toll on us in the long term if we don't address it in the root itself. Okay, I'm here to tell you about the root causes of depression and which leads to suicide. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Abuse. So I was talking about this before as well. So abuse, be it physical, sexual, emotional abuse, can make you vulnerable towards depression later in life. See, abuse is part and parcel of depression because when we go through something particularly traumatizing to such an extent where we don't know how to face it, we tend to ignorantly brush it off of our systems, which leads to us facing things in a very passive or perhaps indirect manner, which also leads to depression and suicidal thoughts. The reason being is because the reason why is, well, again, because we feel insufficient, we feel we are used, we are uncomfortably useless, we are not worthy of anything, right? Because when you go through certain abuse, your esteem gets tested and your insecurities widen, and your confidence is, well, it's contemplated, and you don't feel comfortable around your own self, as you feel, even you may not feel so comfortable around other people because you may feel like you're insufficient. So abuse can take a toll on yourself, especially when you're not so comfortable with your parents who may have caused abuse, or someone who has sexually abused you or raped you or made you assaulted you. And you might be uncomfortable with people around you because abuse can take such a toll on people where they repel people, they get aggressive, where they get very uncomfortably dramatic, or they react in certain ways where a normal someone who doesn't have it, someone who's on the perceiving side of story, might view it as being over dramatic or overreacting, right? Sometimes, especially when it comes to coitus or sexual relations, certain people are very, very repellent of it because they may have gone through certain abuse, which has caused them to feel very insecure around opposite genders or the gender they prefer, right? And another reason which causes depression, part and parcel, is certain medications. Let's say you are taking some drugs for, let's say, acne or diabetes or whatever it is, and some of these drugs, okay, can change your hormones, takes a toll on your hormones because they're supposed to do it in order to tap into your illness or whatever you're going through. And this can cause certain issues within you because you start feeling uncomfortable, and you start feeling very depressive. When I say depressive, like you start getting anxiety attacks, you start feeling like you're sweating too much, you're talking too much, or you're not talking at all, you're isolating yourself, you feel lethargic to do anything, you feel like you don't want to live in this world, you're contemplating your very own existence to a point where you don't feel like surviving, at all, at any level. And you just got to be aware of what you're feeling, and it's perfectly normal for you to have your go to therapist in line. And if you don't have one, it's okay to contact someone or even a friend you can trust, just to ensure that you are aligning yourself with your true purpose, that is to not be depressed, but to get out of it and to be someone who's better. And you're already amazing. Don't let an illness tell you otherwise. It's easier said than done, because even on a personal level, it's so hard for anyone to actually get the notion that you're actually better than your illness because you're so used to feeling like crap. You think you are crap. So when someone says get over it, this is nothing, you're just doing this for the sake of attention, guys, you need to stop that. Because when someone goes through something that serious, we got to understand that person needs attention in a way which encourages them, not make them doubt themselves more, or make themselves more, make themselves question themselves even more often, or make themselves just uncomfortable to a point where they don't want to come to work, or, come to get their groceries or anything of any sort. So we got to be careful of what we tell people. Okay. And another thing is conflict. Suggest that you had a conflict with, you had a conflict with one of your exes or the person you're in love with, and then things went downhill and, crap happened. And even you could be having, let's say you had an issue with your parents, right? And it went on a negative level to a point where you felt so uncomfortable, you felt so vulnerable, and your vulnerability and your loneliness can lead to this as well. Your loneliness and the walls you create due to abuse, oppression, the feeling of unwantedness, isolation, your defense mechanism, your coping mechanisms could be an allotment of walls that you surround yourself with while you punch yourself down every single time by running into these walls without ensuring to break these walls one at a time. And breaking those walls one at a time means for you to take that uncomfortable step of working on yourself. And sometimes it is easy said than done, and sometimes it's super, super tough. We just need to figure out which is which. Okay. Another situation which could affect you on your depressive terms or in terms of suicidal thoughts is genes. So if some of your, let's say you have generational depression coming down, you got to be careful, guys. And it's unfortunate. I'm so sorry if you're going through this. Okay. But if you've gone through this and if you think you're going to go through this, if you're scared that you're going to get into depression, just, you know, let's start with a therapist, start with a professional who can help you out in the long term, who can tell you, okay, you're not going to go there because you're going to do these things. I know you're scared of this. I know you're scared of committing suicide. Maybe some of your ancestors have done this to themselves, but you're not going to go there because despite them exerting certain things to mass effects, you're not going to go through this because you are so much worthy of it all and you are more capable. And you, more than anything, you are aware. Okay? And you are perfectly able to get out of this. All right. So if someone says, you're genetically getting depression, so no wonder you're depressed, good on you. You know what? Why don't you just kill yourself? You cannot say that. Guys, you cannot say whatever you want just because you're annoyed at someone's depression or you don't understand depression or you don't feel like empathizing with someone's mental illness. Because, long story short, if something happens to that person on a drastic measure, you are part of the reason or you could be the complete reason as to why. Right? So you got to be careful of what you speak of and how you speak of things, especially when it comes to a person who is depressive or suicidal. Okay? So problems as social isolation due to other mental illnesses or being cast out of a family or social group can contribute to the risk of developing depression as well. So let's say you don't, the colleagues you're with, they're not so fond of you and you don't feel like you fit that particular clan of people anyway. So you feel isolated. Let's say you're part of the family and your family doesn't accept you as much and they find their golden child, who's a sister or brother, more valuable than you. And you feel that. And you don't know how to feel about it. Instead, you feel depressed. You get into depression faster than you think and you don't know how to spiral out of it. This is where you need to start focusing on how to get yourself out of it. That is by communication, that is by cooperation. And more than that, it is working on yourself through distraction, meditation, and so many other aspects which can help you down the line. Okay? Another thing is serious illnesses. Suggest to you, God forbid, if you're going through, let's say, cancer, or if you're going through something really crazy, really serious, sometimes we get into depression because we know the imminent situation. Because some people are aware of the circumstances so much that they forget that there can be other possibilities. These can be part and parcels of depression and suicidal thoughts as well. So why do I have to go through all this suffering if I can end it now itself? Which causes suicide. Once again, let me remind you, 1 out of 5 people, guys, commit suicide. Okay, so we got to be careful of what we say, how we behave, and what to do among people as such. Because we can be potential participants when it comes to these depressive qualities as well. Because we got to be nice to people. We got to be understanding towards people because these are humans with emotion. And to understand humans and these depressive thoughts is for you to empathize. By empathizing, I'm not saying that you have to go through it. No, no, no. By empathizing, I mean for you to put yourself in their shoes and figure out, if this happens to me, how would I feel? This takes some practice. This takes a lot of practice for you to figure that out. But once you start realizing how it affects someone so much, you'll know how to address them. By that, I mean, sometimes they just want your hug. They just want your cup of coffee. They just want that extra bit of good morning. They want that extra bit of, hey, do you want to go out today? Actually, I missed you so much. I think, I just think that you deserve some time alone. And maybe we should go on a trip. This is what we need, guys. We need to be more understanding, especially if you're an employer. If you're a boss, you need to keep an eye on who your employers are and how they feel. Because if you're part of the reason why they're feeling like crap, you have another thing coming. So just be aware of how people feel. I'm not asking you to be completely aware to a point where you forget yourself. No, no, no. Take care of yourself, but also to ensure to reach out when you evidently see that someone's going through something. So if someone is feeling suicidal and you have seen them attempting it, make sure that they're never alone. And if they feel like taking time alone, give them that reassurance in a loving, patient, polite manner, not saying, oh, no, no, hell no, you're not going anywhere. And don't be rude. Let's be nice, okay? Be nice and just be like, you know what? No, I just want to be there for you no matter what. I don't want to lose you on any level because you mean so much to me, and losing you would break my heart. And you make such a difference in my life that, losing you could be the biggest loss I'd ever have. Such words can affect people so much. So you got to be careful of what you say. Similarly, other things that could get you to depression include substance use. So, nearly 30% of people with substance misuse problems also have major or clinical depression. This could be alcohol, this could be drugs of any sort, this could be even marijuana. This could be just cocaine, this could be any sort of drug that some people misuse to a point where they feel insufficient without it. This is where addiction comes from, and this is where depression comes from when they withdraw from it, because their life revolves around the fact that they are nothing without this substance, that they are more wholesome, that they're more fulfilled, that they're more productive with these drugs. Thing is, it's just a substance. I need to understand to depend on this substance is so dangerous, it can cost your life. And I promise you that's not that worth it. You are so much more worth it that, getting yourself out of drugs is going to be tough, but it's better than letting yourself die, honestly. And so, with this, there's so many more causal effects when it comes to depression, but we'll come up with those later onwards. But stay tuned, okay? Because we have so much more to talk about. And therefore, enjoy the music and keep in mind you are worthy of it all. All right? Stay tuned. And this is Olivia from Kaleidoscope.